Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host Tom Howe and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, if you'll indulge me, I joined Bryna Jordan to talk through my upcoming Ride for Precious Lives challenge for Children's Hospice Southwest and why I'm taking on more than 200 miles of cycling in 3 days. We catch up with Cornwall Hospice's Community Engagement Ambassador Elaine Dyer about their Prom Pop Up event designed to make prom more accessible for young people in our community. As well as that, we take a trip to the Eden Project to mark their 25th anniversary with song, community spirit and a rather spectacular cake too. We hear from ShelterBox Programme Funding Manager Sarah Robinson about why women and girls face disproportionate risks during conflict and disaster and how Cornish-based ShelterBox shapes its emergency responses around their needs. And we welcome Andrew Stokes, Director of Visit England, to learn more about how local stories and tourism businesses are driving national growth and supporting places like Cornwall.
NEWSWAVE.
But first this week, Tuesday marked 25 years of the Eden Project, and didn't they celebrate it in style, with song, community spirit and a spectacular cake too. Chaos Radio were there to capture the moment and people's views on Eden's past, present and future. In a moment we'll hear from Lindsay Brummett, the Eden Project's Communities Programme Director, and from Emily Hankins, the artist behind their extraordinary anniversary cake. But first, here's Director of Science Engagement and Interpretation, Dr. Joe Elworthy.
NEWSWAVE.
Let's move the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come through and celebrate life for the next 25 years. Here we go.
Joe, Dr. Joe Elworthy, Eden Project Interpretation Director.
Joe, it's lovely to be joined by you here at the 25th anniversary celebrations. 25 years ago, what was going through your mind?
25 years ago, very early this morning, I was sweeping the floor in the visitor centre. This morning, very early, I was sweeping the floor in the visitor centre, so my life hasn't changed a great deal. So, no massive expectations, creating this global garden for everybody to reconnect with nature, and it's done everything I'd wished it to do and more besides, and we've got the next 25 years to go.
Absolutely, this is just the first chapter, isn't it? So we talk a lot about the impact that the Eden Project has made on the local community, on the country, on the world in fact, but I'm interested in knowing what impact it's made on the people that created the Eden Project. So you touched upon it then, but how big a part of your life has Eden been, and how has it changed and benefited you as a person as well?
It's a huge part of my life. I think about it all the time. I've been here practically every day for the past more than 25 years. The first time I sort of talked about this with Tim was in 1994, so it was a long time ago. And what it's given me, and it does it every single day, is hope that we can leave the world better than we found it. People are amazing, and if they work together and with nature, we can do amazing stuff. And we don't talk about it, we do it. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's great, but we just carry on. We have the duty to care. We have to care about this amazing planet, and that's all I really care about. Planet and all the people on it.
Absolutely, and that's so important. That's what all this is about. And we've got so many people here today celebrating with you, from people that were here sort of back in 1994, like Tim and yourself, to some newer sort of fans of the Eden Project too. There is something here for everybody, isn't there? And there is something that everybody can do to make the world a better place too.
Yeah, it's a living example of the world. It's a sort of microcosm It's a microcosm of how all the planet works, how we can live on it responsibly, how we can look after the plants, and reminds us every second and every step you take around you that we depend on plants for food and fuel and medicines and materials and fresh air and clean water and fertile soil and biodiversity and a stable climate and recycling. So plants are awesome. And we're embedding ourselves in plants here, and it's joyful. As you can see, we're not an environmental project about negativity. We're about positive futures, we're about hope, and we know that by working with, for, and as nature, we can make everything amazing.
At Chaos, we call ourselves positive disruptors. We get in amongst it and we do our bit of activism, but all positively, all kind of for a greater sort of purpose. And that's exactly what Eden is about. What about the next 25 years, Jo? Can I ask you about those?
Well, I was supposed to be retiring, but I gave up on that idea because I feel this is my home. And so I'll work here for a bit, and if one day I'll volunteer here, but I'll always be connected to here and help bring on the younger generation and give hope and agency to many more people and let other youngsters take over the mantle of this amazing legacy of this gorgeous place.
And Eden has lived through the lockdowns, it's lived through the rise of the digital age, so many different things. I wonder what's around the corner for Eden to sort of adapt and work with in the future. I wonder where the world's going to take us next.
Yeah, whatever's going to happen next. So we keep our ear on the ground, an eye on the pulse. We work with a lot of universities, so it might look all the texts and the exhibits you hear might look sort of concise and joyful, and they're really embedded with a lot of research. In fact, over there just now I could see one of our professors we work with, and he's on the phone all the time, what's coming over the horizon, what's happening with the climate, what's happening with AI, what to keep an eye on, and how to best communicate that to the public. So a huge call out from me to all the universities who help us, and all the amazing students and professors we work with.
Jo, at this point, is there anything else you wanted to add that you think is important for people to hear, or anything we might not have covered? Just to conclude what's been a remarkable day so far.
I think the most important thing is look after the planet, because it looks after us. We are part of nature. We're part of this amazing interconnected ecosystem of people and plants and microbes and everything. And we're part of it and need to look after it.
So first of all, for the benefit of people on the radio who can't see who I'm talking to here, I'm delighted to be joined by. Would you mind just introducing yourself and telling me how you've shaped this remarkable day here at the Eden Project?
Hi, my name's Emily Hankins, and I'm from Cornwall. I'm based near Redruth, and I'm a cake maker. So I primarily make wedding cakes, and I hand paint them. And I've had the pleasure of doing lots and lots of weddings here at Eden over the years. And to be asked to make their 25th birthday cake was a super special honour, like dream brief. I mean, absolute dream brief. So yeah, I mean, I was able to sit down with the team and discuss what they wanted, and we came up with a design that we all loved.
We all get sort of junk emails through, or junk texts or something, and we think, that can't be real, and we just sort of, we'll put that in the spam, whatever it might be. How did you feel when the invitation to make the 25th anniversary birthday cake for the Eden Project arrived in your inbox, in your letterbox, on your phone, however it arrived?
It was definitely a pinch me moment. And, the Eden Project has been a big part of my life for the last 25 years. I moved to Cornwall the year that the Eden opened. So I've grown up here with Eden. I've brought my son up here running around Eden. So actually to be a part of their big birthday celebration is a really special moment. And it's wonderful.
Tell us about the cake, because probably you know what you're talking about, but for people at Eden, there might be different people that want different things. So you've had to make 5 tiers. Is that because 5 different people wanted 5 different things? How does it even work?
Well, the 5 tiers represent the story of Eden. So the cake is a complete story. So on the bottom tier and the base is the beginnings. So you've got the pit and all the diggers and putting up the biomes. You've got the aerial team doing their bits and bobs. I've even recreated the napkins, the initial little sketches that were done with the first little twinkles of ideas. They were on little napkins. I've recreated those in sugar on the base. And then it goes up into adding all the different things that we know and love, like the core building and the Eden sessions starting and all sorts of different things, planting, all of the kind of community events and different things that have happened at Eden over the year have been represented. And then the top two tiers represent Eden now. So there's the tropical biomes with the sugar truck and all of the wonderful vibrant things, the Mediterranean biome that we're in now with all of the things that are representative of here. And then Eden bathed in sunlight at the top, representing hope for the future, really.
It's so special, and we've had a very quick glance at it then amongst all this ceremony happening today to celebrate something that is remarkable, and it's right here on our doorstep in Cornwall, something we can all be so proud of.
Yeah, it is something to be really proud of, and Eden represents such hope, I think, for the future. And, you know, everything's grounded in nature and that kind of regenerative hope for the future. And I think having that here in Cornwall and celebrating Cornish businesses and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, it's a wonderful, wonderful place.
And all these people are here enjoying your cake as well, which is an incredible honour, isn't it? You're so sort of taken aback. I can see you're sort of so emotional and overwhelmed about this. This is such an amazing thing to happen. How on earth are you going to follow this up?
I don't know, because normally when I do weddings, I drop the cake off quietly and then leave. And I don't get to see the sort of wow moment when everybody gets to see it. So actually, it's really a special thing to be able to see people's reactions to it and everybody talking to me about it. It's really, really lovely. But yeah, I think I'm going to follow this up with quite a lot of sleep.
That makes sense, because you've got a 50th anniversary cake in 25 years to start planning. Just lastly, if people want to connect with you, maybe they want to see some of your creations, maybe they want to book you, how can we find you?
So you can find me online. I'm Emily Hankins, so you can look for me at Emily Hankins Cakes, and you can find me on social media in all of those places as Emily Hankins Cakes. So yeah.
Right, go and enjoy yourself, or just go and find a little corner to have a rest in.
I might squirrel some cake away and go and sit somewhere quietly with the bird song and just eat some cake.
It's a great idea. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Brummett. I'm Programme Director here at the Eden Project.
Fantastic. And first of all, I must ask you about the first 25 years of Eden. What a remarkable achievement, and so many people here today and so much ceremony celebrating this milestone.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic moment for us. I mean, we've had all that impact over the last few years, £6.8 billion into the local economy, and so many lives touched and people changed, you know, bringing that story of sustainability, of living within the grain of nature to so many people just by opening the amazing Eden Project. It's just been such a fantastic ride, and we're looking forward to the next 25 years.
Indeed. And will there be any cake left over, do you think, for the big lunch that you're organising?
I'm not sure it's going to last until June, but it is very exciting because this year we're bringing together the big lunch with the big help out. So you can do volunteering in your communities, you can bring your communities together. We're kind of having one big do, and we're going to get everyone together across the country doing positive things for their communities. So there will be cake, just perhaps not this cake.
No, indeed. And we're talking, I suppose, about this is the very essence of community, isn't it? Because so many people have come out from the local sort of areas, but also from around the world here to be here to celebrate the Eden Project. It shows that the world is one big community at the end of the day.
It really is, and I think it's one of those wonderful moments where you realise how close we are to one another and how important those local connections are. And for Eden, Cornwall has always been an incredibly important community, and we love to think of ourselves as a village hall where everyone is welcome. And I think it's one of those times where it's a great symbol, and one of the reasons we do the big lunch and we're doing the big help out this year is in order to bring people together and, you know, generate that sense of community spirit everywhere. So from the 5th to the 8th of June, people will be able to come together, celebrate where they live, get to know their neighbours better, lend a hand in their local area, and it'll all be a fantastic celebration of community. So we're really, really proud to be behind that.
And it is incredible. By no way am I demeaning it at all, the billions of pounds brought into the local economy and the change you've made. But it's the sort of the changes in people's mental health and in volunteering and green spaces and the educational services you provide. It's that sort of immeasurable benefit that I suppose, above all, is an incredible part of what Eden do.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there's so many unintended consequences to the positive stuff that we've done. The Big Lunch is a great example. A lot of people use it as a fundraiser, for example, for things that they care about. And all that money doesn't come back to Eden. It goes into local causes, into the local community to help bolster society and make things better. And it's the same with our education programmes. It's really, really important for us that we have reach beyond Cornwall. We reach out into communities and to people everywhere. And the stuff that we're talking about here is big global scale issues, right? And we try and make them as accessible, as fun, as engaging as possible so that people can take that change on, because that's what's really important to us, to help people to be inspired to make positive changes where they live.
25 years down, another 25 to go, and more beyond that. The work's only just getting started, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We're just a babe in arms at the moment, so we have so much more to do. Next on the calendar, we've got our wonderful Chelsea Garden coming up in May. Then we've got the Big Lunch and Big Help Out, and you can find out everything you need to do about joining in with that at thebigdo.com, because we're joining them together in one big do. And there's so much more coming. We've got a fantastic summer with the dinosaurs returning. They're definitely older than us, the dinosaurs, coming back for this summer. So there's so much on the calendar. We'd love to see people.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Have a wonderful day.
And you. Thank you very much.
NEWSWAVE.
Thank you all. If you want more from Eden, don't miss our chat with CEO Andy Jasper and co-founder Sir Tim Smith. Available now on Facebook. Simply search Chaos Radio UK. Now, if you'll indulge me for just a moment, I'm so excited to announce that I'll be taking on the Ride for Precious Lives this July. That's more than 200 miles of cycling over 3 days, visiting each of Children's Hospice Southwest's 3 hospices. It's all about raising funds and awareness for the incredible work their teams do to help support babies, children and young people with life-limiting conditions across our region. I sat down with Chaos Radio's Bryna Jordan to discuss the challenge in more detail, the reasons behind taking it on, and how your support will go such a long way.
NEWSWAVE.
I've signed up for Ride for Precious Lives 2026 and I'm so excited actually. The hard work and effort and training and fundraising that I have to put in and my colleagues and everybody else as well is nothing compared to the challenges being faced by the families and the children that are being cared for by Children's Hospice Southwest across their 3 sites. So, and I think as well, I always say that we pride ourselves on being a community organisation here, supporting and underpinning the community. But how can we really get a proper appreciation of things if we don't live it as well? Get in there and really sort of, roll our sleeves up. So I could have done a day's work in one of the shops that they have around the local areas, or whatever it might be. But no, I've signed myself up for this 212-mile cycle in July. So yeah, super excited. It's for an amazing cause, and the support already has just been incredible. It's a great community of people, and I'm a newcomer to this. There are a few other sort of rookies, if you like, that are doing this for the first time, but we're joined by some incredible teams of people who have done this over a number of years, who are all really encouraging. And if you look at their impact over the years, have raised an incredible amount of money and awareness just to continue the vital work that they do at Children's Hospice Southwest.
Is it Bristol? I nearly said intercontinental. It's inter-county, cross-county.
Yes.
This cycle. You start all the way up north, essentially, to Cornwall anyway.
So essentially, we're riding between the 3 children's hospices. And actually, the final one will be Little Harbour and St Austell. So I'll be coming home, which is, it sounds good. So So, we'll be starting sort of Portishead, like Bristol area, and sort of near Wales, isn't it? North Somerset. That's where Charlton Farm is based. So that's the sort of furthest one from here, if you like. That's the furthest hospice. We'll be then visiting Littlebridge House, which is in Barnstaple, and then on the third day visiting, obviously, Little Harbour here in St Austell. So it's about 70 or 80 miles a day, which sounds in itself, a bit of a challenge. And the route, though, is absolutely incredible because it traverses some of the best spots the Southwest has to offer. So we're going to be taking in Cheddar Gorge, luckily going down rather than up, and Exmoor, Bodmin Moor, and of course the finish at St Austell Bay into Porthpean will just be beautiful as well. It's one of those things that you think, oh yeah, I could do that, but it's not until you actually start doing it you realise how incredibly difficult and challenging it can be. But again, it would be very patronising for me to say, oh, how difficult a life I've got with this, when actually the real challenges are being faced by the children and families who are being supported. And one of the reasons I really wanted to do this is because of our work with CHSW. But I don't know if you've done it or any of our listeners have done it either, but they do tours around the site. So I've only been to Little Harbour. But like I said, you do not get an appreciation of how special, how breathtaking, remarkable. You could use all the adjectives under the sun because it's just such an incredible experience. And I'm a father of a young child myself, and I would want to feel, if I was in that situation, I'd want to feel that I had the support and that I knew where to turn. And I feel we have a responsibility as well to support organisations like this, with our resources to say, actually, we can add to some of that rhetoric and narrative and say, do you know what, there is places for people to turn when, negative diagnoses are given or challenges like this are faced. There's pieces there that can help break down some of those questions in a way, because you're going to have a million questions. And actually, if there's stuff out there that helps you understand what might be ahead of you and the support you're going to achieve and, the support that you're going to get and what's being achieved to help with that fundraising and that awareness raising, then, yeah, we're doing our bit.
I've spoken to countless people that have worked for Children's Hospice Southwest over the years, and the work that they do is that they are real life angels and real life superheroes. How does it feel to be able to take on this challenge in support of Children's Hospice and everyone that works there, patients, future, present?
Yeah, it's not just the families that are being supported, the over 100 families that are being supported just by Little Harbour, for example. It's the people that work there every day that get up out of bed and know they're facing a challenging situation, but they are giving their careers, their personalities, their lives to support and better the lives of other people. And I just think that's an absolutely incredible thing to be able to do that, not just for one family, but for hundreds of families too, and over a huge amount of time. And I know the support that CHSW give to their nurses and their staff, their volunteers, because there are loads of them. There are loads of them. And yeah, you have to be a pretty special workforce to be able to day in, day out deliver the support that they deliver. So yeah, like I said, this is the least we can do. I know we had a couple of our team do the Rainbow Run last year as well, and we've had a couple of people do the Santa Run as well. So no one had done this one, so yeah, this was the only one that was left. So it was my turn. But
the best thing is you're not doing it alone, are you? You're going to have however many other participants. Over 100 participants. God help anyone that's stuck behind you in a car. You can have
it'll be you in the Chaos Radio team.
It will be, actually. But there's going to be all these people, and I feel like you get that kind of shared effervescence when you're doing something like that with someone else. You're all going to motivate each other. You're all going to spur each other on, which I think if you were doing it by yourself, like I totally do believe in you. However, there might be some moments there where you're like, can't do it, but you've got, I don't know, Sally to your right. Yes, you can, Tom.
Yeah, if Sally could join me on the ride, that would be great. No, look, that's one of the reasons why in my head I thought, yes, let's do this, because we work in the community every day and we know how strong that community can be in helping with so many different challenges and barriers. And the community that has been created via this ride and the other events that take place as well, raising money not only for CHSW but other charities as well, that all do incredible work. It's difficult, isn't it, to choose, because you could try and raise money for everyone, couldn't you? So I don't know what next year's going to hold, but let's hold off. Let's do this one first. But yeah, the community is so great. And that's one thing that keeps being repeated in the meetings we're having, in the events, in the chat boards we've got, that, do you know what, no one's going to be left behind, and any concerns or queries or whatever it might be, everything's being sort of answered so that everyone feels comfortable and ready to raise as much money and as much awareness as possible for the cause. And each person has been given a sponsorship target of £1,250, and the funds, if I may, the funds go towards so many vital services, including hospice stays, palliative and emergency care, end-of-life care, support for babies, children, young people and their families across the southwest. And CHSW as well is they operate the only children's hospices in the southwest. So before these hospices were built and these services were provided, who knows where the closest place was. And now actually we're seeing lives extended and family moments created that may not have been beforehand. So as well as all the fun and all the excitement and the camaraderie and the banter and whatever it might be, there is a really serious undercurrent to this, and that's exactly why we're all doing it. By the very nature of Chaos, we all want to be doing as much as we can for the community that we serve and we love and we live in, because life's not easy, is it, for anybody, and everyone just doing their little bit makes life that much simpler and better and happier. And at that point, may I talk about my Just Giving page?
I was just about to ask you about your Just Giving page.
Yes. So I already, as I mentioned earlier, I do have to raise, as part of this, and every rider does as well, so £1,250. So there are going to be some events coming up over the next few months that we will announce in due course. But before that, you can follow my journey. I don't know, give me a little nice message to push me along up the hill or something. An actual push might be better, but I'll take a message. Thank you. You can connect with my journey at www.justgiving.com. And if you type in Tom Howe, Ride for Precious Lives, and that's Tom Howe, Howe, Ride for Precious Lives, I will arrive there. You'll see my photo, you'll read my story, you'll be able to then connect with some of the other riders as well, and see some of the incredible work that's going on around Children's Hospice Southwest. And thank you so much in advance for any support or donations you're able to do.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, you're listening to NEWSWAVE here on Chaos Radio with me, Tom Howe. Cornwall Hospice are hosting a Prom Pop Up event this weekend in White River Place. As part of an effort to make prom accessible to all, they're offering prom dresses and suits at an affordable price with a large range of sizes. Elaine Dyer, Community Engagement Ambassador at Cornwall Hospice, joins Cheryl Gordon to talk about how preparations are going.
NEWSWAVE.
So as the hospice, we're going to be holding this weekend event on the 21st and 22nd of March, and the pop-up prom is going to take place next to our St Austell hospice shop. So it's in White River Place, and really it's all about giving young people across Cornwall the opportunity to get prom wear at a really affordable price. So we've got lots of amazing suit, dresses, clothing, shoes, accessories, and all of our clothes are going to be at a price point of £20 or less, and all of our shoes, bags, accessories are going to be at the £5 mark. So it's a really affordable way that young people can access lovely clothing that's only, some of it's brand new, some of it's been worn once before, and they just have the chance to get this affordable prom clothing. It's sustainable and it also supports us at the hospice, so it feels like a win-win all round for us and the community.
Absolutely, because it can be a little bit daunting for families when it comes to it, and you feel that you want to take part in it, and you see all your friends going out buying outfits and things, and maybe as a family you may not be in that situation where you can afford to do it. So by doing this, you're being sustainable, you're doing a great thing for it, and also making a difference to a wonderful charity that needs that support as well.
I've heard a lot of families tell me that they've been spending £200-300 alone on, say, a dress, and these are clothes that most people are only going to wear once before they hopefully will donate them. But it's just a lot of money. It's quite a pressure to put on families, so we hope that we can make it more accessible to everyone.
I guess there's no reason why you can't then redonate that back again, so do full circle for somebody else next year or whenever they might need it.
I'm hoping that will be the case after people have had the prom season this summer. We'd love for the young people to then donate their own stuff in so that future people can have that at an affordable cost, and again that sustainability of getting the chance to wear something that's so lovely more than once. That would be fantastic.
What made you decide to do this? What was like the groundbreaking decision to do?
So I work within our fundraising and engagement team, and at Cornwall Hospice we're always working together across all of our teams. So I was speaking to Vicky, who is the manager of our St Austell shop, and really the catalyst was that Fran, who is in our donation centre in St Austell and across our donation centres, had hundreds of prom dresses, and we were thinking, what can we do? We're thinking maybe we could do an event. And then Vicky generously said to us, we've got an empty shop next to you. You can have this free of charge and turn it into your dream prom shop. So it started out with a lot of prom dresses, and I want to be able to do something within the community with them. And with the support of people like White River Place, we're now able to open this shop and to expand that and put more clothing out there and more shoes and accessories. So it really started with an idea of, could we just do this on a small scale? And then with the backing of the community, it's actually now we can do a full shop and support people across Cornwall.
It's lovely to think that right on our doorstep here in St Austell that people have got that opportunity. And it's good that White River have also decided, White River Place have decided that they want to make a difference. Their support has been massive to you to be able to do this.
It's amazing. We're really grateful that they've been open and wanted to support us in this way, and it's just given us a fantastic opportunity to be able to sell these dresses and these clothes and raise money for the hospice, but also be able to support people across our communities. So as a charity, we very much are there to provide our care and our support for all of Cornwall for free, but we very much rely on the generosity of our communities to support us as a charity. So it's a really nice way to build partnerships and to be able to give back ourselves as well.
If somebody's out there listening now and they're feeling a bit anxious or a bit worried, what can they expect when they come into the shop?
They can expect a warm welcome from our team of amazing volunteers. So we've actually got quite a few lovely young volunteers who might have had their own prom a few years ago, who are going to be there helping you find the right thing. We've got a variety of sizes, a range of styles and colours. So there's going to be dresses, suits, different options for people to look at, and the shoes and bags and accessories. We're going to have changing spaces there so people can come and try it on if they wish to, and there's going to be a really lovely atmosphere, so we hope people will come with their friends or their families and make a day out of it and really enjoy it. But it's going to be a very warm and welcoming place, and we're just looking forward to seeing who comes along on the days.
If someone wants to help by donating or perhaps volunteering, How can they get involved, Elaine?
There are so many ways that people can get involved with what we do at the hospice, and we have an amazing team of volunteers. We actually have around 1,500 at this time, which is incredible, but we're always looking for more support. So we very much need our communities and volunteers to be able to do what we do. We have volunteer opportunities in a range of roles. We have people working at our 2 hospices, St Julia's in Hale and Mount Edgecombe in St Austell. We have people, all of our receptions there are volunteer-led, and we have ward volunteers as well. Then we've got our amazing retail spaces. So we've got 30 shops across Cornwall from Penzance up to Bude, and they're all heavily supported by our volunteers, so they're mainly volunteer run. We also have things like our fundraising and events. We get amazing volunteers coming in to support those. So if you have any time to spare, it can be flexible, and it's a really nice way for you to give back, and we've got an amazing community of people that you can work with. If people are looking to donate, we actually are only funded 9.5% of our funding comes from the NHS and government, so like 91% comes from our own funding. So that's fundraising, our shop, donations. So again, if people wanted to donate, they could head to our website, or if they want to donate their own stuff to go for sale in our shops, we've got our donation centres in Truro, St Austell and in Bodmin, and we would love for people to donate things that we can then resell and raise money that way.
All these little things, no matter how big or small, or whether you're making a donation, can make a massive difference to the individuals that need that support and care from your amazing care teams that you have at the hospice. And it's a wonderful space, even though people might be a bit anxious about the space, but there's all so much support that your team gives to people.
Yeah, we've got such amazing team at our hospices, and we are able to provide all of our services for free because of the support we get from the community. And it's our patients at the hospices and their families and carers, but we also do support in different ways. We have our lymphedema clinic, and we also run support hubs and bereavement services. So there's quite a few different ways that our charity supports people across Cornwall.
When and where is the pop-up shop?
So it's taking place on Saturday the 21st and Sunday the 22nd of March from 10 till 4, and that's going to be in St Austell on White River Place next to our Cornwall Hospice shop.
Elaine, is there anything else you feel that you want to add or encourage people to do as a result of the wonderful work you're doing?
I just want to say a big thank you really to the community of Cornwall, to all of our amazing volunteers and everyone that makes it possible to do the work that we do. We're celebrating 45 years, and that feels like an amazing achievement that we wouldn't be able to do without everyone that helps us. So just thank you, and anyone that might want to get involved, please do head to our website and get in touch.
NEWSWAVE.
This past week, Visit England celebrated English Tourism Week and the businesses that help destinations like Cornwall to thrive. This year, it's all about local stories and national growth. Cheryl spoke to the director of Visit England, Andrew Stokes, about what the week means to places like Cornwall, where tourism is part of our everyday lives.
NEWSWAVE.
Domestic tourism is huge business, and it represents some over 2 million jobs. It's £127 billion in spend. But all of that, actually what's important about all of that is what happens at a local level. We know that internationally, over half the visitors who come to this country go to London, and they don't go anywhere else, and they think they've done England. Domestically, it's really important that we drive those visitors to experience everything at a local level. The wonderful stories, the wonderful experiences that actually local people can help us deliver will really drive growth. If we could convince just 10% of the people who currently go for short breaks internationally to take short breaks domestically, that would be an increase of £8 billion in GDP. It's a significant amount of money. And local people have a part to play in that. And that's what English Tourism Week is all about. It's about celebrating our local offering, but it's also a bit of a rallying cry. It's about saying, go out there, experience tourism at a local level. Go and visit that attraction that you haven't been to since you were at school, probably, and let them know that you appreciate them and see what a wonderful offering we actually have.
Cornwall saw 7.4 billion in domestic visitor spending last year. What does this tell us about how people choose to holiday in England?
Cornwall has always been, and I hope will continue to be, one of our honeypot destinations. You know, you think of Cornwall, you think of wonderful beaches. Yeah, you think of the tourism economy down there, which is wonderful, both coastal, rural, and even a smattering of urban offerings. So it's unusual that it can represent all of those things. What is important to remember is that tourism is probably more important to the Cornwall economy than in most regions. So really making sure that we celebrate that product, making sure that we recognise its importance is vitally important for Cornwall.
I think also you think back to COVID times when people weren't able to travel abroad and they came to visit Cornwall and saw the pleasures of Cornwall. It's about trying to make and attract people back to seeing what a lovely holiday they can actually have, isn't it?
Absolutely. I used to say that post-COVID, when we had that blip of the staycation, that people fell back in love with an English holiday. And of course, I understand that once people were released and were allowed to travel abroad again, there was going to be a blip for people to travel, because we're all travellers at heart. But I would also challenge people in that I would say, you haven't experienced all that England has to offer. And there is a real balance of payment issue for me here. More money is spent by English people going abroad than is spent by international visitors coming in. And so do your bit, support domestic tourism. And, even people who've spent lots of time going to Cornwall, I bet they haven't been everywhere. All my childhood holidays were spent in Cornwall. And yet when I go to Cornwall, I still find undiscovered things. I still find new experiences. And sometimes I still sort of revisit things I did as a child. But I think that's one of the wonderful things about Cornwall. You have all of that at your fingertips.
Now, how do local businesses like hotels, attractions and restaurants help support both tourism and local jobs?
Oh, absolutely. They do. And one of the reasons that we hold this week is that we want to give those businesses an opportunity to highlight their importance to their key stakeholders, so to their local councils, to their MPs, and to their key partners. And so I say during this week, make sure that you get out there, make sure that you let everyone know how important tourism is. Because, as I said, we're not talking small numbers, we're talking big numbers. And quite often, what is good for a visitor is also good for a domestic audience, is also good for a resident. There are, one of the things that we have seen is that many of the things that make a destination attractive, it's wonderful restaurants, it's wonderful independent shops, can't survive just with their local residents' income. They need the income from visitors as well. So there's a clear symbiotic relationship. What's good for the visitor is good for the resident. What's good for the resident is good for the visitor.
Tourism brings benefits, but also pressures on local communities. How can Visit England helping to make sure tourism grows in a sustainable way?
So we have set up an accredited structure of local tourist boards all around the country called Local Visitor Economy Partnerships. One of the key things that they do is they work with local councils and the businesses to manage the delivery of tourism. So we used to have organisations called destination management organisations, and I think people used to think it was all about marketing. It was all about getting as many people as possible all the time. For me, it can be about managing those visitor flows so that in the early part of the season, the late part of the season, or even by extending the season, you can grow tourism in a managed way, which respects and reflects the needs of local community as well. Because if we can extend our season, it means that the quality of the jobs that we offer extend as well. So they become less part-time, more full-time. It means that the impact that we have on local communities can be managed. So I think it's about managing tourism flows, about managing our delivery, rather than just saying tourism is good or bad.
How can tourism businesses use English Tourism Week to promote themselves and share their stories?
They can. There is a toolkit, so they can go on the Visit England website and they can download that toolkit, which means that they will then have tools that they can put on their own social media to highlight the importance. They can contact their MPs, they can contact their other partners and just highlight the importance of this wonderful industry. I mean, it's an industry that brings about big spend and big, is important for GDP, but it's also about fun. I mean, for goodness sake, this is a great thing we're talking about, which impacts positively on people's lives.
Now, finally, looking ahead, what opportunities do you see for Cornwall and the South West as a domestic tourism continues to grow?
So I think, I've already referenced how it's important that we manage that. I think working in partnership is key. So recognising that it's important that we turn day visits, well, you can almost see it as a flow. We want to get more visitors. We want to get more day visitors. We want to turn those day visitors into overnight stays. We want those overnight stays to be at the right time of the year so that they don't impact badly on the community. We can see how tourism can support businesses, can support the independent nature of Cornwall, the independent food offering, the independent drink and shopping offering. All of those are things that we can look to in the future by managing our tourism economy.
NEWSWAVE.
Now on Chaos, we're going to take our coverage international and ask why women and girls are so disproportionately affected when disaster and conflict force families from their homes. To answer this, Bryna spoke with ShelterBox Programme Funding Manager Sarah Robinson about the everyday dangers faced during displacement, from period poverty to increased risks of violence, and how ShelterBox designs its emergency responses around the needs of women and girls.
NEWSWAVE.
More than 117 million people are displaced globally. Why are women and girls disproportionately affected when disaster and conflict strikes?
Of that amount of displaced people, more than half of those are women and girls. And often they come from situations where existing inequalities were already in place, where they didn't have access to services, they were burdened with a lot of household tasks, and weren't able to recover or sustain the type of crisis that they've hit. So it is generally women and girls that take more of the brunt, and while they are able to flee in some cases, most displaced people flee with very little. So what they have around them, their kitchen sets, their blankets, their solar lights to keep them safe at night, they generally have to leave all those behind and are far more vulnerable when they flee to a safer place.
It sounds really, really challenging. I find because things like period poverty can potentially already be an issue, but what happens if you are in a camp and you get your periods, or there's all sorts of other kind of hygienic issues that come along with it? What kinds of everyday challenges become more dangerous, like periods, etc., and difficult for women during displacement?
There are a number of additional challenges that they face. They're often the home provider, not necessarily from income point of view, but from services, in that they collect the firewood for cooking, they collect the water for cleaning and for consumption. And obviously the menstrual hygiene is a huge issue for all women around the world. But if you can imagine not having access to any kind of products to make that a little bit easier, it's exceptionally difficult. And for women, the dangers that increase, particularly when they have to leave the home, the sexual and gender-based violence risks increase, the general harassment and assault risks increase as they have to leave the home and to go into vulnerable situations, to collect firewood, just to provide food for their family.
How does ShelterBox design its emergency response specifically around the needs of women and girls and some of those challenges and dangers that they face? What kind of items or features make the biggest difference for them?
The most important thing is to start with the women and girls in the community. It doesn't work if we come in with our UK minds and say, this is what we think you need. It has to begin with the women and girls that we're intending to serve. And often what we see in a crisis is women form community groups very quickly. They support each other, they help each other, they make decisions, they lead responses amongst themselves. And you don't want to undermine that. So it's really important to recognize those groups, to respect them, to harness their knowledge and experience. And that's generally the first step, is you want to just connect with the community. What do they need? What do they want in order to survive this traumatic situation that they're in? The type of items that we generally provide based on community needs is the hygiene kits. So that will include reusable sanitary towels. But with that, they do need to be washed. So there's an additional challenge of being able to find a private place to, in a sanitary way, be able to wash these products. So it's ensuring that there's some kind of associated facilities that women can continue to use these items. One of the things we've done is provide alternative stoves where they don't require as much firewood to burn, they burn for longer. So women don't have to go collect firewood as often as they would. While it doesn't completely remove the risk, it reduces the risk.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that ShelterBox is doing in Chad to support women and girls fleeing from the war in Sudan?
The war in Sudan is an unimaginable crisis, and particularly it is a war on women. The levels of gender-based violence are just exceptionally high, more than we've seen in other conflicts, even though the reporting is quite limited. Information coming out of the country is not often as readily available as we would need to fully understand the picture. But we've seen close to 1 million refugees flee from across Sudan into eastern Chad. And of those, 80% at least are women and children. So the proportion of women that have come across is just mind-blowing. We don't usually see that split of men and women. So the needs in Chad, the humanitarian community is overwhelmed. The needs outweigh the funding available, the services that are provided. And it's just it's a neglected crisis as far as the world goes. You don't hear it in the media, it's not in the newspapers, and yet the needs are so high and people are really suffering, even though they are in a safer place than they were in Sudan.
You've launched a spring appeal aiming to raise £50,000. How will donations from people here in the UK support women and girls around the world?
So if we look at Chad, for example, we've been working there since the Sudan crisis started in April 2023. And the work that we're doing there with women and girls is around providing shelters that are a little bit more durable than an emergency shelter to add that protection. Then we have specific items that we distribute. So, for example, those stoves that I mentioned that reduce the use of firewood, those are being very well accepted in Chad. And they're produced by a women's cooperative in N'Djamena. So in that same time, into the pockets of women that are using their initiative to meet the needs of their fellow women is incredible. We're also providing their sanitary towels that are reusable. But from previous projects, we had feedback from the women that they prefer a darker material. So now we've adapted them and we're providing the darker material. So that's an example of how we adapt a program based on the specific needs of the women and how they express them.
On a personal level, what does it mean to you as a woman to be able to put these things into place and work for ShelterBox, a company that will help support women and girls in disadvantaged places in the world or being displaced?
I think all women, regardless of being disadvantaged or advantaged, have felt some level of discrimination, whether it's in the workplace or socially, obviously varying levels. But I think we can all say there's been comments made, there's been a look, there's been a little action here or there that has made you feel small, it's made you feel invisible and not thought of. And those are only exaggerated in areas that have been affected by crisis. And knowing my own vulnerabilities as a woman, while we try to put on a strong face and believe that nothing can get through our tough skin these days, it does hurt. And I can only imagine the level of hurt and fear that women feel in these situations where everything has been taken from them so violently, whether it's through an earthquake or through a conflict. And being able to support them specifically is, for me, a way of just providing that little bit of hope, that little bit of, you're not on your own, we see you, I understand, I want to listen to you. And again, it comes back to the way I would want to be treated. So treating others the way I want to be treated is really important as my work as a humanitarian. And that extends to the specific work around women and girls.
Absolutely. That was a beautiful answer. Finally, for listeners who want to help, where can they go and what kind of difference can their support make right now?
So the best way to support us is through our website. You can visit that at www.shelterbox.org. You can find out a lot about our work around the world, the focus on women and girls in different countries, and have the opportunity to donate. You can sign up for our book club. You can attend events. So it's not only has to be a money donation that you put through your card. It can be more interactive, more personal than that. Follow us on social media. We're on all the major platforms. Understand what's going on in the world. Talk to your friends. Arrange book club nights where you discuss issues. But keep it in mind. Realize your own privilege and don't forget to support other women that don't have the same privileges.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to everyone that took the time to speak to us at the Eden Project's remarkable 25th anniversary celebrations. To Elaine Dyer at Cornwall Hospice, to Director of Visit England Andrew Stokes, and to ShelterBox Programme Funding Manager Sarah Robinson. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you've got a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it then, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe, thank you so much for listening. Whatever it is that you're doing in your community this week, as I always say, be sure to add just a little bit of chaos.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.